Capitol Center, Landover, Maryland. It's all on the line here today for the Washington Bullets as they trail the Houston Rockets 3-2. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Don Crickey. This is Mendy Rudolph. Mendy, they've really got it jacked up, this crowd already.
This crowd is sky high, and so are both clubs, Donald. We should have one heck of a ball game this afternoon.
What is the key now for Washington to get back in there?
Well, the key for Washington, of course, is to score more points than Houston. And how they got to do that, they got to get Moses Malone off the offensive boards, control Calvin Murphy, and get Elvin Hayes into the game, and possibly Mitch Kupchak coming off the bench to give them some added board strength. They've got to control the boards.
The Houston Rockets say they know everything that Washington's going to do. Washington knows everything the Rockets are going to do. It's just a key of who runs their plays better.
Who's going to execute well, who's going to run their plays and their patterns well, and who's going to make the least number of mistakes. That'll be the victor.
Now let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game as they come out onto the floor. For the Houston Rockets, Dwight Jones and Rudy Tomjanovich will start at the forwards. Moses Malone is going to be the starting center. Calvin Murphy, who hit those 40 points, 30 in the second half in Game 5, working in the back line with John Lucas, the rookie out of nearby Maryland. And for the Washington Bullets, Kevin Greavy will start at forward along with Elvin Hayes. Hayes jumps center, but he plays forward. Wesley Unseld will be setting the picks in the middle, of the backcourt players are Phil Chenier and Tom Henderson, who gets the opening tap. He's not had that good a series yet, Henderson.
Not yet.
Phil Chenier shooting off the baseline against Lucas, and the rebound is taken down by Greavy at 6'5". And Unseld working hard underneath, follows it up. So the Bullets come out, get 3 chances on their first set, and they go out in front 2-0.
And Wes Unseld has not had that good of a rebounding series. We'll see what he does today, Don.
Dwight Jones comes out. There's a lot of motion in the Houston offense. Their coach, Tom Nissalke, said the key to this team is getting the big men moving a lot underneath because they have a lot of speed. And now the Bullets come down the floor as Greavy takes the outlet pass from Henderson. And Washington is out in front 4-0.
And that's when Washington's at its best, when they run the ball up court and get out of the patterns and take the opportune shot.
Calvin Murphy gets the ball to Moses Malone. Malone being played by Elvin Hayes. Moses Malone going down low. Moving quickly, gets the loop pass. He also got pushed by Elvin Hayes, but Dwight Jones comes up with the ball. Elvin Murphy working harder, and Murphy gets it up and in.
A good assist from Greavy. A bounced off Greavy back to Murphy off each other's foot. Murphy took advantage with his great speed and converted.
Elvin Hayes gets the ball, and Calvin Murphy gets the personal foul.
Well, Murphy is that kind of a ball player. He'll go chase loose balls. He'll chase balls all over the court, and does commit quite a number of fouls sometimes that really shouldn't be committed.
Greavy going to the basket, and Kevin Greavy, a second-year player out of Kentucky, goes baseline and has his third and fourth point.
Let's watch this now. Kevin Greavy going up for the hoop. What they did was a mental lapse on defense for the Houston Rockets. Nobody picked him up as he went by his man.
10:28 to play in the first quarter as Tomjanovich puts it up against Greavy. Tomjanovich with a big height advantage over Kevin Greavy. Tomjanovich at 6'8". Greavy is 6'5", and it's a 6-4 game. Washington with the ball and the 2-point lead. Dick Mata, the Washington coach, looking on as Elvin Hayes gets the lead inside.
Dwight Jones gambled on defense that time, trying to overplay Elvin Hayes, but a good pass and a little body contact. Elvin off to the hoop.
So it's now an 8-4 game as Dwight Jones comes out high. They want to pull Unseld away from the defensive board. Moses Malone being caught by Elvin Hayes. Rebound to Unseld. Here comes Henderson. He's the man who leads their fast break. Elvin Hayes, an 18-foot shot. And the rebound is to Tomjanovich. Here comes Calvin Murphy and the Houston Rockets as Lucas takes it to the free throw line. And John Lucas, the #1 player drafted in the NBA last season, out of Maryland, puts the points up to make it an 8-6 game Washington.
The big favorite in this area is John Lucas, of course, because he went to Maryland, and he'll put on a show for these fans down here. They love him.
Here comes Calvin Murphy back the other way, and the little guy feeds off beautifully to Lucas. Calvin Murphy and Lucas, and hand them in the backcourt.
Perfect example, Don, of what happens when you penetrate to the hoop. Calvin Murphy created the situation to hit the open man when the Baltimore Washington defenders had to go over and pick him up.
So the game is tied at 8. We have 8 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the first quarter as Chenier goes high. Tomjanovich sweeps down his second defensive rebound and almost loses the ball to Chenier. John Lucas working harder, starts up court. The man who quarterbacks the Houston Rockets. Down low to Dwight Jones, being played by Wesley Unseld. Earlier in the series, they had Elvin Hayes against Dwight Jones. Wesley Unseld is charged with his first personal foul and the first team foul of the game. The Rockets with a chance to go in front for the first time. Tom Janovich spinning off Greavy. Moses Malone almost had the ball, but Elvin Hayes outfights him to it. Here comes Washington on the run. Henderson to Greavy. To Chenier. Good move by Phil Chenier, and he gets it to go.
Boy, he put a move on Rudy Tomjanovich that time. He caught him going to his right. He knew Tomjanovich took the fake. Phil Chenier just come in for the hoop. Watch this play now. He'll fake. There he goes. Tomjanovich completely off balance. And Phil Chenier using the ball well as Rudy Tomjanovich goes back and scores a field goal for the Houston Rockets.
He goes back door and ties the game at 10. Tomjanovich now with 4 points for the Rockets. It's a 10-10 game. 7:55 to play in the first quarter. Washington and White must win to stay alive in the playoffs. Dwight Jones takes it down on the defensive board. Here come the Rockets on the run, pushing the ball up the court. John Lucas has played very well in this series. Goes to Dwight Jones, shooting up and over, but Malone gets the offensive rebound. Can't get it to go, and it's tapped out to Tomjanovich. They're really hemming Malone in underneath. He's so tough. He gets those offensive boards. Dwight Jones takes it up. Shoots over Unseld.
Dwight Jones has a tremendous height advantage against Wesley Unseld. And the only thing Wes Unseld can do is just play position on Dwight Jones. He's got to box him out and make sure he doesn't get that position again for the easy hoop.
So Houston takes the lead for the first time. It is a 12-10 game. Elvin Hayes gets the ball down. Here is Chenier going baseline again. He lost Lucas. And a foul underneath.
We're going to have a loose ball foul against Wes Unseld on the rebound. Bobby Regal caught it. Now let's watch it at the second foul. Chenier will go up and miss the shot. Watch Wes Unseld come into your picture, use his body, bump against the Houston player. There's the foul.
And so it is a 12-10 game. Houston, as Unseld, as you mentioned, Mendy, has 2 personal fouls, and Tomjanovich goes against Greavy. Tipped away. Elvin Hayes gets the ball to Henderson. Houston getting back very nicely on defense to shut off the overmatch on the break. Greavy pumping, rolling. Elvin Hayes working harder, and finally Unseld puts it up. It worked, and he was fouled on the play.
And there's a play whereby Elvin Hayes missing an easy pop under the hoop will possibly convert it into a 3-point play. You'll watch the shot go up. Greavy will miss. Unseld will come into your picture later and convert it into a possible 3-pointer.
Wesley Unseld at the free throw line. He has been the source of some, not controversy, as Dick Motta said, from the start of training camp till right through the regular season into the playoffs. He's been my most consistent player, but Elvin Hayes has been openly critical. He thinks they should get more offense out of Wesley Unseld.
There is just a bit of dissension right now on the Washington club. Now that's off the court, but when they get on the court, I'm sure the 5 players out there play very well together.
John Lucas looks for the outlet. Finally, Calvin Murphy comes back. Shot clock is down to 10. Inside they go to Jones. Tries to stuff the ball. No basket.
You saw perfect execution that time of the pick and roll. Dwight Jones going to the hoop. There's the left arm pumping away Elvin Hayes. A good call by the officials.
Back live at the other end. That makes it 15-12. Elvin Hayes getting the bucket for the Washington Bullets. Hayes rejects the shot of Dwight Jones, and Jones will go to the free throw line.
Well, he that giveth can taketh away also. Now let's watch Elvin Hayes' arm and see just exactly where it hits, just on the wrist, enough to stop the shot, cause a 2-shot free throw.
Dwight Jones, of course, from the University of Houston, where Elvin Hayes played. In '68, Elvin Hayes was the College Player of the Year. Dwight Jones is matched very well when he plays Elvin Hayes. He's very tough on Hayes, very aggressive with him, harasses him on defense. Dwight Jones from Wheatley High School in Houston goes to the free throw line. Now it knocks them both down, and it's a 15-14 game. The Washington Bullets with a 1-point lead. That's what it looks like in the first quarter at Philadelphia. The 7th game there. The Celtics and the 76ers are tied. We'll be updating that throughout the afternoon, including live reports from Philadelphia. Down low we go to Wesley Unseld, the big guy, now has 7 points.
You saw Moses Malone that time come out and try to play the ball on the guard, and he paid for it with Wes Unseld on an easy shot.
Unseld is only averaging 8 points a game in this series. Alvin Murphy takes it away and puts it back down. And he has 4, and it's again a 1-point game, 17-16.
And we're going to have a 20-second injury timeout right now. I think we lost a contact lens off Steve Grebe.
Every week.
Or Kevin Grebe.
We lost one last week here. It's a 17-16 game. If you weren't with us at the outset, Washington jumped out to a quick 4-0 lead. Houston came back to lead for the first time 12-10. And now at 17-16, Washington is in the lead. This is game 6. The Bullets must win to stay on in the playoffs. Houston comes to Landover today with a 3-2 lead. And it should the Rockets lose today, they will be on the home court for a 7th game. Henderson coming off the baseline. He's had a lot of fancy shots, as somebody in the local paper quoted Al McGuire, the coach of Marquette, as saying fancy shots, this isn't a diving meet, you got to get it in the hoop. Henderson's had a lot of great shots, but they haven't gone down. He only had 4 of 11 the other night at Houston. Tomjanovich dancing with the ball, and he puts it up with a fake.
And there's the overmatch with Tomjanovich and Grebe, a great height advantage, and Tomjanovich used it well.
6 points for Tomjanovich. 19-18 is the score now.
And both teams beating very, very well at the outset. Good shooting percentages.
We have 4:29 left to play in the first quarter. A 3-point lead for Washington is Moses Malone at 6'11", just 22 years old. 4:17 to go in the quarter. We welcome those of you watching the Philadelphia-Boston game at the Spectrum. Here at Landover, Maryland, the Washington Bullets in white are leading 23-20 over the Houston Rockets. A game that the Houston Rockets could put away this playoff series with a victory here. Washington jumped off to a quick 4-0 lead. Houston came back to take a 12-10 advantage. It's been a very aggressive game, controlled primarily by the guards. And here's one of them, Tom Henderson, going to the basket very quickly against John Lucas.
Tom Henderson with a great move on Lucas. Dwight Jones was caught flat-footed and could help out on the block. And Henderson right now is sparking the Bullets.
Alvin Murphy has scored 4 points so far. He had 40 in Game 5, which Houston won on Friday night to take command of the series 3-2. That's Dwight Jones putting it up. 3:30 to go in the first quarter. It is 25-20. Washington and White in the lead here at Landover, Maryland. The shot is up and good.
You'll watch this on the replay now. Phil Chenier getting the jump. And when he starts jump shooting from outside like that, he is a very, very dangerous opponent to play. He can possibly put the Bullets up now by 8. And they've got a little surge going here very early in the game, Don.
So Chenier is at the free throw line. He is averaging almost 25 points a game in this series. Had 37 points in one game. He's been the most potent scorer. Good balance on the Houston scoring. 20.6 for Malone, 20.4 for Tomjanovich. Murphy's averaging an even 20, Newland 15, Lucas 14-2. Malone, they're doubling up on him very quickly, fronting him. Malone jumps over Elvin Hayes. And Bob Rakel, working the game with Richie Powers, blows the whistle underneath.
We're going to have a foul on Elvin Hayes. Of course, Elvin doesn't like the call. And we have our first substitution that we should mention. It's Elvin's second foul. Johnny Johnson is in the ball game for Rudy T. Let's watch this on Elvin. A little too much hand pressure on the back. And, of course, when they clean that post up early, that's going to help both teams.
Now back to the live action. Moses Malone goes inside and puts it up. Is partially rejected by Elvin Hayes. Here comes Henderson on the move for the Washington Bullets to Chenier. Elvin, there's a foul underneath. Malone was pushed. They're going to call a timeout right now. 2:53 to play, and it's 28-20 Washington. That's what's happening at the Spectrum. Philadelphia leading Boston 20-16 with 3:53 to play in the first quarter. Mitch Kupchak is now in the game. He has the ball for the Washington Bullets. They lead the game by their biggest margin, 28-20. Unseld has 7 points and 6 rebounds for the Bullets. Chenier with 7 points. Reeve has 6. Tomjanovich leads Houston with 6. Lucas, Murphy, and Jones have 4.
That's something you very seldom see Elvin Hayes do, is go into the 16-foot lane. He'll usually turn around and take that jumper, but it looks like Elvin may go to the free throw line on this particular play. Let's watch it. Elvin will usually jump. He enters in, and you saw the foul by Mike Newland.
2 new players in the game for Houston. John Johnson and Mike Newland are in the game, as they team up with Malone, Jones, and Calvin Murphy. 5 points now for Elvin Hayes and a 9-point advantage for Washington.
With Mike Newland in the game now, you'll see a little bit more aggressiveness coming out of the Houston club. He is a hard-nosed player who will take the offensive charge, who will box out on the boards. A very, very tough competitor.
And now, Washington with its biggest advantage. A 10-point lead as Calvin Murphy looks down low to John Johnson, a very explosive scorer, and he comes right off the bench and guns down his first attempt.
And John Johnson is another one of those confident shooters. Once he hits his first or second shot, he'll keep gunning it off all over the court, and he does have a tremendous range for a small forward.
He's only averaging 4.2 points a game in this series and hitting only 40% of his shots, but he can get very hot. Here's Kupchak. He's a 57% shooter throughout the regular season and a 69% shooter in this playoff series. He's hit 42 of 61, averaging 21.6.
Right now, there's going to be a mismatch now in the Washington front court. You see Johnny Johnson on the West Unseld, Elvin Hayes against Dwight Jones, and Moses Malone up against Kupchak. Let's see if they go to Elvin Hayes and or Wes Unseld.
Elvin Hayes loves to turn around and shoot it up, and he just did there. He now has scored 8 points, and it's again a 10-point lead for Washington. Elvin Hayes with perfect position, gets the defensive rebound out to Kupchak. Up court it goes to Henderson, and there's a foul called on Calvin Murphy.
Calvin Murphy will do that. He'll try and come in and block off the dribbler and get his body in front of somebody who was going with the progress. And we'll watch it on the replay now. There's the shot by Calvin Murphy that is missed. Kupchak comes up court, and Calvin Murphy will step right in front of him. There it is, attempting to block off the penetration.
Calvin Murphy gets his first personal foul. We have 1:44 to play in the first quarter. Washington 32, Houston 22. And Kupchak, the #1 draft choice out of North Carolina, gets the point up and down. Get another try now, shooting foul. Penalty foul. Here comes Calvin Murphy, looping it up. Not enough there. Kupchak with the ball, and Henderson pushing hard, fires to Chenier. And back inbounds to Washington.
Well, Washington right now is fighting themselves off the offensive boards. You watch Elvin Hayes time this shot perfectly and just slip it. I'll tell you, it's not easy to do when you have the speed of a Calvin Murphy coming at you.
Houston's going to go to more height now. They're going to put Kunit in the lineup. Here comes Calvin Murphy, weaving up the court. John Johnson, his second attempt, gets his own rebound. He's fouled by Kupchak. Kupchak couldn't help it.
Let's watch this call because I have my doubts about this. Watch Kupchak go in. You'll see the replay.
Now to Philadelphian Brent Musburger.
Welcome those of you who have been watching Washington and Houston all along. 2:47 to go in the first quarter. Boston with the ball, trailing Philadelphia in the 7th and decisive game, 24-17. Dave Cowens has been devastating on the boards. An offensive foul is called.
That's Charlie Scott's second foul. So far, the big factor in this game has not been the way 76ers have contained the Celtics. It's just the Celtics' ineffectiveness to convert the offensive rebounds into 2 points.
Havlicek hitting just 2 of 8. Cowens 1 of 5. Philadelphia sets up. Julius Erving on the bench right now. McGinnis and Mix are the forwards. Wicks switches off quickly on Bibby and picked him clean. Sidney Wicks now, and a race. Mix comes back and fouled him.
There was no question about that foul.
Jack McMahon, the Philadelphia assistant, talking to Doug Collins, who is also out. Henry Bibby now working at guard with Lloyd Free. 2:19 left in the first quarter. It is Philadelphia 24, Boston 19.
Now back at Landover, Maryland, we have the score 33-24. As you see, Mike Newland was fouled, and he is at the free throw line with both teams in the penalty situation. Foul in the backcourt. He's getting 3 chances to make 2. He missed his first. He can bring the Rockets back to within 7 points. As you see his playoff and per-game averages during the regular season. It's a 33-26 game.
Triangle!
Washington's been up by as many as 10 points. Kupchak working on Kunert, and Kunert way up, gets the rebound. Here comes Calvin Murphy. Mike Newland gets a free shot from the top of the key and puts it right down. And it's a 5-point game with 33 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Both teams shooting very well. As the score indicates, they've already scored 61 points in this first quarter.
Who has a great ability just to jump over opposing guards and get that jump shot away as he did there. He's now scored 9 points for Washington, and the Bullets have a 35-28 lead as Houston works it down for the final shot of the quarter. 9 seconds to go. 6 seconds. Moses Malone with the offensive rebound. He's fouled by Henderson.
Moses Malone was awfully cute on that rebound. He gave Elvin Hayes just a little body to get Hayes away from him on the rebound. And when you go ahead and rebound like Moses Malone does, there's a little push. Perfect example of boxing out and using your weight. And there's the foul as Henderson comes into your picture. Moses Malone is a tremendous offensive rebounder. He led the league in offensive rebounds, and you saw the reason why on that particular replay.
Malone at the free throw line. He has now scored just 2 points. What do we have here?
The question on the play right now, Don, for your fans watching is, did he have a one-shot foul coming up, which would only give a 2 attempt, or was he in the act of shooting? The officials ruled he was in the act of shooting, and therefore he gets 3.
Newland fights and gets the rebound, puts it up just before the buzzer. And so the first quarter comes to an end here at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. The Washington Bullets, who must win the game to stay in the playoffs, are in the lead 35-28. The preceding public service message has been brought to you in cooperation with the National Basketball Association. There is the end of the first quarter at Philadelphia. The 76ers in Game 7 of that series, leading by 5.
And that's what I told you earlier. That's the one thing Boston has to watch out for. If Philly runs up a big lead in that first half, it's going to be catch-up for Boston and very difficult to handle.
Right here, it is a 35-28 game as we open the second quarter. Here is a steal by Chenier. Up court to Kevin Grevey. Out to Mitch Kupchak. And Kupchak is on the board. He has 3 points now, and it's a 37-28 game. Chenier is the leading scorer in the game with 9 for Washington. Hayes has 8, Unseld 7, and Grevey 6. Tom Janovich has 6 for Houston. Jones, Newland, Murphy, and Johnson 4 each. Lucas looks. Going to be red ball. Houston keeps it.
In that first quarter, Don, both teams scored way above their playoff average. The Bullets were only averaging 22 in the first quarter. In the previous games, the Rockets were averaging 25. So we got a high-scoring first half so far.
First quarter, Houston hit 44%. Washington hit an even 50%. 15-30. Kupchak takes a look inside as Kunert now comes down and picks him up, and Chenier fires it up. Here comes John Lucas. Great ball control. Look at him get the ball out to Newland. Foul call goes on Newland. Larry Wright in the game, the rookie from Grambling, got the position.
And we have 4 players on the court. Lucas and Chenier, Larry Wright standing right in front of Mike Newland and picking up the offensive foul call.
That's the second personal foul on Mike Newland. And it's 37-28. The Washington Bullets are in the lead. They led at the end of the first quarter 35-28. Larry Wright loops it down low. They're working the inside game now. Elvin Hayes getting a follow-up. It was blocked by Moses Malone. Kupchak and Kunert fighting for the ball.
And I'll tell you, it's tough on those boards right now. An awful lot of body contact. You'll watch the missed shot. Kupchak will come into your picture and give Cunningham just enough of a push to get away from the offensive rebound. There it is. And away we go with Houston in control. Bingo, technical foul.
Technical foul on Dick Mata. Bob Rakel, the referee, calls a technical foul on Dick Mata. Now, you saw in the replay, it was quite apparent that Kupchak did indeed push off and was guilty of a foul.
No question about it, but what Mata will usually do when he picks up a technical foul, Don, is not so much complain about the call that was just made, but look for the call that's upcoming and possibly the second and third call that may be coming. Looking for the edge at this point in the game.
That's what a lot of the complainers really are looking for, the edge, aren't they?
That's what they want. They just want the next call. Forget about the old call because they know they can't do anything about it. Give me the next call, baby, if I can get it.
There's a method. What do we have here? Well, it went for Washington.
And there it is in return. Cunningham against Kupchak. Kupchak against Cunningham. There's going to be a lot of contact between those two guys under the boards. Let's watch it here.
Very interesting, as you point that out. This call goes the other way at the other end. Here is really starting to burn Houston. He now has scored 11 points for the Washington Bullets. And as you see, they're up by 11, 39-28. We have 10 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the first half. Newland shoots. Houston needed a basket badly there, and they got it.
Right now, Houston relying on perimeter shooting, but that won't win this game for them. They've got to penetrate to the hoop and create situations.
Moses Malone takes it down, and here comes the big guy on the run, up court to Lucas. Don Lucas takes it right in. The basket is disallowed. Foul call on John Lucas.
Again, Larry Wright taking the offensive charge. He absorbed the punishment on that particular play, cut off the field goal, and you got to give the little guy an awful lot of credit. Good play.
Don Crickey with Mendy Rudolph back at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland, where the Washington Bullets in the white uniforms have a 39-30 lead with 9:35 to play in the first half. They led by 7 at the quarter. What do we have here?
Well, there's the contact that I expected between Cunningham and Kupchak. Cunningham grabbed a hold of Kupchak. The referee spotted it, and that's going to continue throughout the second quarter here.
Second personal foul on Cunningham. Down to the corner, Larry Wright fires it up. Oh, he's not bashful for being a rookie.
That's not his best shot, but he'll take it. Very poor percentage shot from deep in the corner, but Larry Wright converted.
Look at here, Boston has closed to within 3 now in the second quarter at Philadelphia. The Celtics have played 12 seventh games in their storied history, and they've won 11.
That's a tremendous percentage. They'll be very, very tough this afternoon. And we'll keep all our fans posted on the progress of that game.
But the winner of that series meets the winner of this series. Moses Malone. Offensive rebound, very nicely done by Rudy Tomjanovich, who banks it back up. It's 41-32.
We'll watch the replay now. Moses Malone with Tomjanovich in great position. What Sweevy's got to do is just box him out of there.
Sweevy versus Tomjanovich. Neither can guard the other. Larry Wright firing it down. 2 jump shots for the rookie out of Grambling.
Larry Wright throwing up bombs. That's really not his game. He likes to penetrate to the hoop, but as long as he's hitting the jump shot, I'm sure he'll continue to do so.
And again, Houston trails by 11, now by 9, as Kevin Kunert, who was 6'2" as a high school junior and 7 feet as a college freshman, if you can believe that. Newland takes a hard charge from Unseld.
Fouls against Elvin Hayes, Don. Newland was coming down blindly, and Elvin Hayes took a position and just showed his shoulder out of there, and Mike Newland hit the floor extremely hard. Boy, he took a shot. He's a little dazed out there as we look into his eyes. And we'll watch it on the replay. Elvin Hayes will blind pick Mike Newland. You'll see it, and that's a no-no because you've got to give somebody a way to turn. You saw him catch him on the chin, which was, I'm sure, accidental. Elvin does not want to go out and hurt anybody, but nevertheless, Mike Newland took a heck of a shot, and he is dazed.
He's going to come out. Dick Vandervoort, the trainer, talked to him and figured he better sit down for a while. He took it right on the chops, as you saw in the replay. That replay tells you everything.
I had a very, very good shot at his eyes, and I'll tell you, they were awfully glazed.
You'd have to hit that guy with a club to knock him out of the game, though.
He'll be back.
He is seriously tough, that kid. Greavy goes to Henderson. 43-34 Washington. Henderson trying to push the ball to the basket. Calls for a double dribble. Washington playing a very high-pressure game, moving the ball very quickly down the floor. They want to have time to work with a shot clock to get the percentage shot inside. John Lucas, a rookie who plays like he's been in the league 10 years, running the Houston offense. Down low to Calvin Murphy against Henderson. Moses Malone looks around. He's going to jump up on Elvin Hayes. Lost the ball going to the basket.
Elvin Hayes right now frustrating Moses Malone completely. He's doing a tremendous defensive job. You'll see a little bit of contact there, but Moses Malone, in his effort to turn to the hoop, lost the ball out of bounds.
Now back to live action. Kupchak shoots for the Bullets. Rudy Tomjanovich getting his share of defensive rebounds, pulls it off. We have 7:29 to play in the first half. It's 43-34. Malone fighting and getting the offensive rebound and getting the roll. I'll tell you one thing, it's a very fine line between a personal foul and body checking, with Elvin Hayes defending against Malone. Very physical on the part of Hayes.
On both parts. Elvin Hayes will try to box Moses Malone out of there, because once he gets the boards in tight like that, there's just no way of stopping him. Greavy, another jump shot.
Greavy and Tomjanovich can't guard each other. They're just too good offensively for their opposing defensive talent. They both can get the shot against each other. Alvin Murphy heads on in, looks down low, and Kevin Kunert gets an easy one. Thanks to Mr.
You got to credit Calvin Murphy with that particular play. He penetrated, which we said he had to do earlier, and Kevin Kunert was in position for the little shovel pass.
45-38. Washington's lead down to 7 now. Elvin Hayes against Moses Malone. Shuffle pass off to right. Elvin Hayes invariably shoots the ball when he's down low with his back to the basket. When he gets to that time, he played smart basketball.
Larry Wright moving very well without the ball, penetrated into the lane, and again, Elvin Hayes looking for the open man. Great assist.
Alvin Murphy can't get it to go after he weaves inside to get the shot. Greavy looks out. Henderson in the corner, and now we're going to have a timeout call by the Washington Bullets. We have 6:08 left to play in the first half, and the score is the Bullets 47, the Houston Rockets 38.
Please.
And you see what's going on at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Boston inching back into that game, down by just one. Here's how it stands here at Landover, Maryland. 47-38. Lots of points going up with 6:04 left to play in the game as Kupchak shoots for the Bullets. Rebound to Kunert. 5:58 to play in the first half. We welcome our Boston-Philadelphia viewers here at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. The Washington Bullets, as you see, are holding to a 9-point lead. They're led by backcourt player Phil Chenier with 11 points. Kevin Greavy scored 8. Elvin Hayes has 8. Unseld with 7. Tomjanovich leads the Houston Rockets with 8 points. Both teams with the Washington Bullets in the white uniforms and Houston in red are trying to get the ball inside to their big men. 5:30 left to go in the first half. 49-40. John Lucas puts it up, and John Lucas knocks it down.
And there's Rudy T with a great height advantage over Greavy. He had to be double teamed on that particular play. And when Larry Wright went over to help out, he saw the open man, shouldered it back to Lucas, and Lucas converted.
Tomjanovich with his 5th defensive rebound of the first half. His team can come to within 5 points if they hit the hoop here, and Tomjanovich puts it up with a lot of heart. Kupchak gets position and the rebound. Up court to Wright. 3-on-3 break. Wright tries to go against Lucas. Offensive foul on Larry Wright.
And there's the same play that Larry Wright pulled just a few seconds ago. Let's watch it on the replay. Larry Wright banging into the Houston defender. And of course, the little guy didn't like it, but he liked it when the call went the other way, didn't he, Don?
Yes, he did. I tell you, these officials look awful good when you look at replays. And now let's get an update on the Celtics and the 76ers in Game 7 as Brent Musburger at the Spectrum.
Welcome those of you from Houston, Washington. Philadelphia up by a point. The lead starting to seesaw right now. 4:53 first half. Havlicek of the Celtics with the ball, and Scott came inside and drew the foul as he rolled up the shot. That's Caldwell Jones, number 11, says Joe Gashu.
Is Charlie driving the middle? They could have taken either one. It looked like Lloyd Free or Caldwell Jones fouled him.
Billy Cunningham, George McGinnis yanked down 6 rebounds, but all in the first quarter, and Gene Shue has been sending one player after another in this game off his bench, trying to relieve the tension, trying to calm everybody down.
Henry Bibby also has 6 rebounds, so that shows you the problem the 76ers are having on the boards. Henry Bibby is the smallest player on the 76ers, and you shouldn't be going that way. It should be the big men getting the ball off the boards.
And with 4:40 to go in the first half, Philadelphia tries to break up the deadlock. The doctor backs in on Havlicek.
Well, we see the 76ers just standing around, just playing one-on-one basketball, and this is a problem when you're not shooting well.
White. He has been the main man, just as he was on Friday night. 17 points already for JoJo White. Gene Shue checking the timeout situation in the first half. The doctor turns around on Hondo, uses the glass, and ties it as Heinsohn looks in. .357 to go. In the first half, we're tied at 36.
Now we have 4:01 left to go here at Landover, Maryland, as you see the Washington Bullets now holding to a 5-point lead. It was as many as 11 not that long ago. Larry Wright with the ball. Phil Chenier has just come back into the game as the Bullets' backcourt production has fallen off with Chenier out of the game. Kupchak goes to the basket and draws the foul. Mendy?
And Mitch Kupchak brings an added dimension to the Washington club because not only can he rebound well, but he'll drive well to the basket, as we see on this particular play. Mitch Kupchak getting inside of Kevin Kunert with a little bit more speed, and Kevin causing the foul. Mitch will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Kupchak has a lot of speed for a big man. He's a lot quicker than some people give him credit for, and he'll go around you as you give him one step.
Boy, he's a real asset. He just plays so hard, so enthusiastic. They really got something when they drafted him.
He is a tremendous asset to this club. Not only can he play center, but he's a very, very quick forward and a power forward also.
Well,
loves contact too, Don.
And the attitude he brings to a team is so very impressive.
A lot of enthusiasm.
Dwight Jones makes little doubt as to who pulled that off as he went up over the rim, gets the ball out to Lucas. The Rockets with a chance to come to within 4 now. They're tough to knock out of the game. They have a way of weaving back in. John Lucas, sharp shooting from 18. It's a 4-point game.
And I'm sure that Dick Motta will bring Elvin Hayes back into this game as quick as he possibly can because he needs some board strength up there against Moses Malone as well as some scoring power.
Larry Wright moving with the ball as Unseld comes out high. Hands off. Leonard Gray came by. Now Chenier gets the ball. A beautiful shot of Phil Chenier. 52-46 Washington.
You just knew Phil Chenier was going to go up with the ball. He was looking for an open spot on the court and found it at the top of the perimeter, and he said, "This is my spot. I'm going up. I'm taking the shot," and he converted.
He's the top scorer in the game. He has 13 points for Washington. Mike Newland rejected by Kupchak. Leonard Gray gets the free ball, and Washington will set it up. 2:43 left to play in the first half. Down low they go to Kupchak. Almost traveling.
There's the versatility of Mitch Kupchak that I mentioned about just a second ago. He'll take that jump shot and go to the hoop. And on that particular play, Elvin Hayes was about to substitute for Mitch Kupchak, and Dick Motta pulled him back. He likes the way the team is going right now. He's going to stay with it.
Unseld tips it over to Kupchak, and here comes Washington again with an 8-point lead. Down low to Leonard Gray. John Lucas was out of bounds when he got the ball tipped to him, so Washington maintains.
Boy, that can drive you crazy. Washington did everything right on that particular play. A great pass to Leonard Gray. Had an easy shot under the hoop. Fumbled the ball. Couldn't get it up in time. Couldn't get the handle. And we have a timeout with 54-46.
With Mendy Rudolph, this is Don Crickey back at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. We're in the 6th game of this NBA Eastern Semifinal Series with the Washington Bullets in white, the Houston Rockets in red. Washington must win the game to stay alive as Houston leads the series 3-2. And with 2:07 left to play in the first half, the Bullets of Washington are in the lead 54-46. They've led by as many as 11. Unseld throws it away to John Lucas inbound. And Lucas with the left hand comes down in a hurry.
2 minutes. 2 minutes left in the quarter.
Mike Newland down low to Moses Malone. Lucas picks up the free ball. Washington playing a very aggressive defensive game. Foul on Wright. That's his third.
Well, they are tight on the ball, and they're overplaying. The Houston Rockets are doing everything they can to go ahead and commit turnovers. That's Larry Wright's third foul, and Henderson was ready to take his jacket off and go back into the ball game.
Boston and Philadelphia are tied at 38 in the second quarter at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. That, of course, the 7th game of that series. 54-46, and on the turnover with Moses Malone able to handle it, Washington gets it back. Mendy?
What the Bullets have done so far, the first half has completely negated Moses Malone. He's not very much involved in the particular offensive pattern of the Houston Rockets, and they're paying for it.
Houston gets it back. Down the floor they come. Eugene Kennedy in the game for the first time getting the rebound. Here comes Mike Newland feeding off to Lucas. Unseld, blocking everybody out and taking the defensive board. Here comes Chenier. Chenier pops it down.
Chenier can jump shoot as well as anyone. He has a height advantage on Lucas, and he took advantage of it at that time. Jumped right over him, converted, and beautiful jump shot.
Tomjanovich puts it up. Out it goes to Henderson. Henderson with the acrobatic shot. And it's a 12-point lead for Washington.
The most beautiful thing about that particular play was how he avoided Mike Newland. Because he left his feet, Mike Newland was right in his path, and he changed directions in the air. A circus shot by Tom Henderson.
We're down to 28 seconds. Moses Malone having a lot of trouble getting a shot. Gets one up now. Kupchak went down, no foul. Malone has just 6 points. And it's a 10-point game, Washington, as you see Dick Mata up signaling one shot. Play for the one shot. And you see the game clock winding down to 11. First half coming to an end. Phil Chenier didn't get it to go. There's a foul underneath. Gray.
Yes, and that could be a 4-point turnaround because Phil Chenier really forced the shot up. They could have gone up by 12 possibly had they taken a good shot. And now Houston will go to the free throw line, possibly convert 2 free throws. So instead of Washington Don going off the court possibly with a 12-point lead, they could go off the court with only an 8-point lead. It's a big break for Houston late in the second quarter with only 5 seconds left.
Moses Malone is at the free throw line. The big rookie in the NBA played in the ABA after coming out of Petersburg, Virginia High School. Oh, they're just people all over the league are talking about this guy, how good he's going to be. He just turned 22 years old. They're going to have him on a weight training program in the offseason to build his upper body up somewhat. He has all the tools, and Moses Malone hits 2 free throws to make it 58-50. 1 second. The first half comes to an end. And so, it's a 58-50 game. Washington in the lead, and now let's go to Brent Musburger in Philadelphia.
Welcome those of you who've been watching Washington against Houston. It is Philadelphia 44, Boston 42. And that's the score of the game you were just watching. For the rest of our audience, of course, Washington must win today. It's the 6th game of that series to force a 7th game. So we have 4 series in the NBA that could come to an end today on CBS, or 3 could continue. Now 46-42. Boston bringing it up against Philadelphia. JoJo White with 17 points leads the Celtics. Curtis Rowe drove inside. Foul by McGinnis.
That's McGinnis' second personal foul.
Assistant coach John Killalay of the Boston Celtics. He must have been in the arena about 8 o'clock this morning checking the baskets, wasn't he, Billy?
Jack McMahon was checking them, and he was. That's the job of the assistant coaches. Heinsohn probably questioned him after the first period. They couldn't make anything.
Heinsohn ensures such basket cases by along about the 4th quarter. It's usually McMahon and Killalay that wind up running everything. Although I must say Tommy Heinsohn has been extremely quiet today.
He was very quiet in the 5th game here in Philadelphia.
Off Dawkins' hands, regains control, and came up with all the strength that he can muster. 25 seconds, 48-43. Sixers lead the Celtics. Heinsohn yelling the play. JoJo lost control. 2-on-1. Free pressures. White and Free goes to the basket. A second quarter explosion. 14 points by Lloyd Free. Philadelphia goes up. Saunders comes up with a jump shot. Technical foul has been called as Steve Mix came out on Gashu.
That's a fair technical by Mix at that point. You know, you have a 7-point lead right now. Your team has the momentum. You don't want to, and 4 seconds left in the period, try and gain control of yourself. I've committed enough personal fouls and technical fouls myself not to be critical, but it was a big call. He shouldn't have done it.
So White misses the technical.
Oh, it was a great play by Steve Mix. He knew he'd miss it.
You're like all the rest.
Oh, yeah. That's like the player shoots a 30-footer and the coach is ready to put in the substitute, yelling and screaming, and it goes in. He said, great shot, great shot.
Now it is Saunders who is fouled, and the Celtics have gone 0 for 2. Trailing by 7. 4 seconds left first half.
The 76ers will get the ball into Lloyd Free and let him go the length of the court. And he has plenty of time, 4 seconds to get down and get a decent shot.
Havlicek is watching Free at midcourt. Here are the final 4. McGinnis wants Dawkins off his hands, and Cowan yanks it back 1 second out of bounds. We have come to the end of the first half of Game 7. Philadelphia with 3 victories. Boston with 3. 24 minutes to determine who will advance.
We'll visit with Jimmy the Greek at halftime, and Red Auerbach will have Calvin Murphy as his guest on Red on Roundball, so stay with us.
You know, the surprising thing about that first half is the rebounding situation. Moses Malone has only had a total of 5 rebounds, and that is really subpar against any club in the league. Wes Unseld is the leading rebounder along with Mitch Kupchak. They have 7 each. But, of course, if both teams are shooting well, there's not going to be that much rebounding because they're not missing that many shots, so therefore he doesn't have the opportunities.
So Washington starts off on defense.
All right.
We welcome those of you who've been watching the Philadelphia-Boston game. We've just opened the third quarter here at Landover, Maryland, with the Washington Bullets in the white uniforms and with the ball, leading Houston by 8 points. Washington must win this game to stay alive, as they trail 3 games to 2. Phil Chenier is the leading scorer in the game. He has scored 15 points, and here he goes looking for 17. He's got it.
And Phil Chenier, the open man, on a great save previously by Wes Unseld. Rudy T just couldn't get over fast enough to grab a hold of Phil Chenier, and he can jump shoot, as we all know.
17 points for the original hardship case out of California. He was the first guy who went hardship to be drafted earlier than his graduating class. Played at Cal at Berkeley. Phil Chenier has scored 17 points, primarily on those straight-up jumpers. He can go up in the air so high, he can shoot over most defenses. So it's now a 60-50 game. Washington has been up by as many as 11 points late in the second quarter. They've gotten very little production, have the Houston Rockets from Calvin Murphy, who just got that rebound. He scored 40 points in Game 5. He got 30 in the second half. So he's going to come out shooting here in the third quarter. Calvin Murphy with only 4 points at the half.
And nobody picking up Lucas as he goes to the hoop. Another breakdown on Washington's defense. John Lucas went right to the hoop with an easy bucket.
Here you go, Murph. Got the cut again, Murph.
We had 1 technical foul so far. That was on Mata, the Washington coach. Down low, Henderson can't handle it. So we've got 10:32 to play in the third quarter. Washington leads Houston 60-52. John Lucas calling the signals for the Houston Rockets. Henderson comes out to meet him as Houston double picks down low. The left side of the lane, Tomjanovich and Jones set. Lucas comes down low, now goes into Dwight Jones. Up on Unseld. Wesley Unseld working so very hard, gets the rebound. Up court to Greavy. Greavy, Elvin Hayes, Phil Chenier, Tom Henderson, and Wesley Unseld in the game for Washington. Tomjanovich loses the ball. Dwight Jones picks it up. What do we have? Andy?
We have a loose ball foul. Houston will pick up the ball and come on down court. Now, what we've happened in the last 2 sets down court is once Wes Unseld has been forced outside, and taking a couple of bad jump shots. He's got to get down low and get on the boards and forget about the jump shot. As we look at Bob Rakel there, Don, we know the strike is over and the regular referees are back to work. Now, both sides claimed victory in any strike, but the ones who benefited most by the strike were the players and the coaches and the fans. For what they really realized when the strike was over and the playoffs were on, that it takes very skilled and very, very special people to officiate in the NBA. And this all became about because of that strike. And what it proved once again is that it takes a lot of credibility to referee in the NBA, and my hats are off to the officiating staff.
Well, it's certainly good to have him back. I think the final line on that was the fans at Portland, when they came back, gave him a standing ovation the other night, because you really need very, very schooled adjudicators in this playoff competition. It gets very, very tough out there to, Elvin Hayes is all alone inside and dips it in. Houston was caught off guard. Let's watch it again.
Let's watch this on the replay. Elvin Hayes with nobody near him. Dwight Jones overplaying a complete breakdown again, and Elvin Hayes with an easy dump shot.
Alvin Murphy goes to the basket, and Elvin Hayes comes up with the ball. Here comes Henderson on the run, lead to Chenier. And Washington takes a 10-point lead, 64-54, and Chenier has scored 19 points.
That's one of the things the defenders on the Houston club must realize, that Phil Chenier will very seldom drive to the hoop when he has an open lane like that. He'll pull up and jump for the 8 or 10-footer, and they should expect it to go out and play him a little bit tighter.
Wesley Unseld working very, very hard off those boards. He's been a terror. Here comes Malone the other way to Lucas. Great coordination to Calvin Murphy. He puts it up on Unseld, and Tom Janovich gets the offensive rebound. John Lucas sees an opening out to Calvin Murphy. Malone's going to go right back up on Elvin Hayes, and Moses Malone makes it work. He scored 10 now. They need more offense to Moses. He's so tough inside. Reeve back the other way.
A run-em, shoot-em type of basketball game right now. Both teams coming down the court, not working the ball, not made 2-3 passes, just getting the ball up to the hoop when they find the open spot on the court.
Unseld leads all rebounders with 8 in the game. Again, they go to Moses Malone, and again he makes it happen. 12 points for Moses.
And as we mentioned earlier, that's what they have to do. The Houston Rockets must get Moses Malone into the offense as they do right now. They get it down low to him in the hook shot over Elvin Hayes.
Reeve looks, feeds off to Elvin Hayes. The Big E fading away, tipped over to John Lucas. Here's a 2-on-3 break. Lucas will probably slow it up as Washington's doing a nice job getting back. Look at Lucas go to the basket. Can he play basketball?
What a step he took. He took one step when he was off and gone. Unbelievable. Now watch it. There's the step past Reeve. Quick, beautiful move to the hoop.
John Lucas has scored 12 points for Houston, and the Rockets are now down by just 6. 7:15 to play in the third quarter. Chenier, as Lucas goes for the ball. He's going to be short. Dwight Jones rips it off. And Lucas always pressuring the ball up the court. Unseld rejects the shot, but there was a foul on Washington prior to it.
The foul is on Elvin Hayes. Now watch this. He'll go up. That's his 4th foul. There's a little bit of a push. And Wes Unseld comes into your picture with a good block. It could have been a field goal, but nevertheless he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots. As you look at Elvin Hayes, 4 fouls, and Dick Motta's going to have to nurse him along. I would expect Mitch Kupchak at any moment to come into this game, give Elvin Hayes a little bit of a breather.
John Lucas starting to come on now. He has scored 14 points, and all of a sudden the Houston Rockets are back to within 4. As coaches Tom Nasalty and Del Harris shout out instructions on defense. That's how it stands at the Spectrum. Philadelphia still up by 5 points as they were at the half, now early in the third quarter. Henderson down low to Elvin Hayes. Elvin Hayes with a hard bank shot gets it to go.
And that's what Elvin loves to do. He loves to get the ball down. He'll put the ball to the floor once. Dwight Jones should realize that. Come out and overplay Elvin Hayes and deny him the position.
John Lucas down to Rudy Tomjanovich to Kevin Greavy. There's a foul call inside. Rudy T gets a 2-shot foul, but before he'll take it, we're going to have a timeout called by Washington. 6:29 left to go as you watch Rudy T in the third quarter put it up 68-62 Washington. Rudy Tomjanovich with 14 points now for the Rockets as they have come back into the game down by 4. They're now down by 6. They were down by 11. Tamjanovic had the chance to put them right back into the game with a 4-point deficit when he hit these two.
Tom Nasaki must realize, of course, that there's a mismatch up front there with Kevin Greavy and Rudy T. And so long as Mata goes with Greavy, who has a little bit more speed than Rudy Tomjanovich, I'm sure you'll find the ball going inside a lot to Rudy T as well as to Moses Malone.
Both these teams have worked to get it low. They haven't been trying to take those perimeter shots. Chenier they go with on the perimeter because that's his game, the great outside shot. Moses Malone up over everybody, feeds it off to Calvin Murphy. He could dribble through a fence, I think.
And there are the guards turning it on right now for the Houston Rockets. Murphy and Lucas, tremendous speed. We've got something happening here.
Lucas has now scored 16 as Houston is back to within 2. It is a 68-66 game. Greavy feeding off to Unseld. They give him the free shot, doesn't go to it. Now he goes to the sharpshooter Greavy. And Unseld gets the offensive board and puts it back up. He's been very, very valuable to the Washington Bullet effort today. He has 9 points in the game. He has 9 rebounds. And again, the Bullets open up a 4-point lead. It's getting tight now. John Lucas takes it inside. Unseld rejects. Greavy tips the ball out to himself, and he's going to fire on Tomjanovich.
And there's the speed of Greavy against Rudy T. It's size against speed, and on that particular play, speed outbid the size.
That was it. Here comes Tomjanovich now against Greavy. Down low to Dwight Jones, shooting on Elvin Hayes. Not enough there. Malone way up for the rebound, loses the ball. It's inbound to Washington.
Moses Malone didn't time that exactly right, but he was in great position. As we look at Moses coming back on defense, the true great offensive rebounder in the NBA, the premier offensive rebounder, I might add. And look at that score, Don. Wow.
2 great games going. There'll be more later in the day for you as we have Elvin Hayes getting it inside and setting it down. Selke's up now, walking in front of his bench. And he's going to send John Johnson into the game with 4:45 left to play. In the third quarter, Washington again opens up an 8-point lead after Houston came back and challenged it down by just 2. Calvin Murphy looking to go offense. He puts it up. Knocked down. Rebound Hayes. Out court. It goes to Kevin Greavy, and the Washington Bullets throw it away.
A little too long of a lead pass on Calvin Murphy. He made his first 2 shots and has missed his next 8. Now, we spoke to Calvin Murphy before the game, and he said, I take my open shots. I always play with a lot of confidence. Sometimes they go in, and sometimes they don't go in. On the game there the other night in Houston, he scored 30. He was getting his shots, and they were dropping. In this particular game, he's still getting his shots. He's still getting open, but they're just not going through the hoop for Calvin.
Calvin Murphy with over 10,000 career points now. He is the 4th all-time leading collegiate scorer behind Chamberlain, Robertson, Pete Maravich. Here is Greavy down with the rebound, up court pass to Henderson. Ooh, over and back. Goes back the other way.
And credit that play to Calvin Murphy, because what he did is he cut Tom Henderson off, and he forced Tom Henderson into a turnover into the backcourt. Good defense by the little guy.
We have 4:08 left to play in the third quarter. Washington 74. Houston 66. John Lucas goes outside to John Johnson. Cornered now in the game down low against Elvin Hayes. And here's a whistle and a foul call.
We've got a block foul called by Bobby Rako. Another turnover. Washington will pick up the ball. Now what Tom Nasaki has done now, he's taken Rudy T out of the game. And he's gone with John Johnson against Greavy. Speed against speed instead of size. To compensate for that, he put Hunter back in for a little bit more muscle.
Chenier shoots. Rebound is taken by Lucas to Moses Malone. Back to Lucas. Quickly up court with that belt-high left-hand bounce. Lucas, a southpaw. Moves the ball with either hand. Cunard gets an important basket for Houston as they've been dry for a while.
They're hanging in here tough. Cunard can shoot, and Elvin Hayes is going to get a half up into his belt in order to stop that jump shot.
3:20 to go in the third quarter. Washington by 6. Rebound to Unseld, and Unseld just getting position and working harder. They're not blocking him out at all.
That's one thing that Cunard's got to do is stop watching the ball so much as opposed to watching the man who may rebound. He's got to box him out and take his eyes off the ball. The ball will come to him.
John Johnson heads to the basket, shooting on Greavy. Rebound to Elvin Hayes. Down court to Greavy. And Duke tells the whole story. Could not get the inside shot. Look at Calvin Murphy go in. Isn't that amazing?
Calvin Murphy gave him a little stutter step. Wes Unseld was just faked right out of his shoes as he goes past Phil Chenier. A beautiful move by Calvin.
Calvin's got a hard look on his face now. He knows that Houston is in tough, and he wants to get his offense going.
We got a block foul on this. Moses Malone tried to do a little drama acting and have the call go the other way. Now watch this as the ball will come through. Moses Malone will play Elvin Hayes with the body, throw the block. No call.
Now, let's go to Brent Musburger in Philadelphia for an update on the Celtics and the 76ers.
Welcome, all of you who've been watching Washington and Houston. Here we have the Boston Celtics ahead 59-56. Philadelphia has gone cold against Tommy Heinsohn's Celtic team in the third quarter. 4:05 left for the quarter, and the 76ers have scored only 6 points so far with just 4 minutes left. So that is a production of 6 points in 8 minutes. We have 4 players with 4 personal fouls. One of them, Sidney Wicks, just sat down with that green headband. Freddie Saunders is out. Shot clock a factor. Free comes up short. Doctor at the offensive end. Fresh 24. Daryl Dawkins muscled his way. Loose ball. And on the run, it's JoJo White. Pull up. Lowe pursued it, so did Erving. Back come the 76ers. Dawkins down to 3. 3 inside. He plays. Got it. And was fouled.
Well, we see how much the 76ers depend on their fast break. They've been able to score 6 points up to this point. Daryl Dawkins making a fine outlet pass to Lloyd Free, going up, somehow hanging in the air and drawing the foul from Cowens.
With 3:39 to go in the third, Lloyd Free, those 16 points can tie it. He has.
It's getting very, very rough under there. A lot of bodies flying, and anything could erupt.
Free watching Havlicek. Havlicek. Dawkins. 3:17 to go in the third, tied at 59. Bibby with a second chance for Philly, and it was the doctor underneath.
Kevin Cunner just put in a big hoop following his own rebound up, and is now a 2-point game again, 76-74. Both teams having trouble hitting the basket while we were away. And now Wesley Unseld gets it down low to Greavy. Cunner blocks it, Malone blocks it, and Greavy was also blocked, so we'll have a shooting foul, and Washington's Kevin Greavy will go to the line.
Cunner not too happy with the call. It looked like a good block from where I was sitting. We'll watch it on the replay now as Wes Unseld gets ready to pass the ball into Greavy. It looked like all ball to me. It looked like both players had their hands on the ball, but of course the officials have a better angle than we do. Nevertheless, Kevin will go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Kevin Greavy puts it up and good. The leading scorer in the game is Phil Chenier with 19 points. Wesley Unseld has 11. Kevin Greavy now with 12. Elvin Hayes has 14. Lucas with 16 for Houston. Newland has 6. Dwight Jones has 4. Moses Malone has scored 12. Tom Janovich has scored 16 points. And John Johnson has 6. Calvin Murphy has 6. Kevin Greavy, you may recall, scored 34 points in an NCAA championship game against UCLA, but the Bruins won the game in the national title.
And we have another injury timeout for Kevin Greavy. That's the second contact Lindsay lost.
We don't know if this is bogus or not. He does this every week a couple of times. It's nobody's timeout.
It gives him a breather. They're allowed 1 injury timeout per half, and he's taking advantage of it right now. The Bullets have been suffering, Don, on the free throw line. They're way below par on conversion of free throws. In the regular season, out of 22 teams, they were 21st.
That's right.
They were way, way down with a shooting percentage of only 71%.
And they're only hitting 66, 67% here in the playoffs. Houston is probably the best shooting team in the NBA overall. They're a team that hits over 48% as a team.
And I'll tell you, when you get down into close ball games, into very tight situations, those free throws are so crucial because they can turn the ball game around, not only score-wise, but in strategy, too. When you go to the free throw line and have confidence that you're going to score, they mean an awful lot to a team strategy.
We're down to 53 seconds to go, and there you have it. Washington not missing another free throw by Greavy. 50 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And it's a 77-74 game. Houston can come back to within one here as they double up on the ball again. Newland takes a look. He heads for the hoop. Moses Malone gets it and right back up. Basket. Oh, he's called for travel.
And there you saw the magic of Moses Malone on the offensive boards. Unfortunately, though, he took a look around thinking there was somebody near him, and there wasn't, and he shuffled his feet and caused a turnover. Houston could have come up to 1 point on that particular play, and Moses was too anxious to get the ball up to the hoop.
Washington led by 7 at the quarter, by 8 at the half. And now they are up by just 3 as we have 16 seconds to go in the third quarter. Houston will play it down for the final shot. Tom Janovich looks up, checks the time. Malone sets himself low against Hayes. Rudy T puts it up, and beautifully done by Tom Janovich, who has now scored 18 points. It's a 1-point game. Here's the final shot of the quarter. And so Houston has a big third quarter and rallies back to within 1. So as we head into the final 12 minutes, we've got a big game going. It's a 1-point lead for Washington. The 76ers have just hit 2 quick buckets, and they have broken a 61 tie and now are up by 4. As you see, 2:23 left to go in that Celtics 76ers 7th game at Philadelphia. Next, you'll be seeing Los Angeles and Golden State or Portland or Denver at various times. No matter what your network is getting, you'll get both of them. They'll be going back and forth. We start the fourth quarter. We welcome our Boston, Philadelphia viewers. Washington in white is holding to a 1-point lead as we open the fourth quarter. Phil Chenier putting the shot up is the leading point producer in the game with 19. But Houston has been getting back in it after trailing by 8 at the half with a very aggressive attacking offense. They've been going right to the basket. And so with 11:42 to play in the fourth quarter, it's 77-76 Washington. Mendy, what do you look for down the stretch here?
Well, what's happening right now is Lucas is out of the game. Mike Newland is in to call a little bit of aggressiveness in there for Houston. We've got to look for Rudy T, who has the overmatch right now. Of course, Moses Malone and Elvin Hayes has got to come in and start scoring a lot more points for Washington than he had in the third quarter so far.
And Houston has taken the lead, 78-77. Houston has gone in front. They've not led since very early in this game. Unseld takes a look down low. Elvin Hayes is charging into it. Moses Malone, it's back over to the Rockets.
That time Moses Malone got the call, a very important call. It's Elvin Hayes' 5th foul. Now you watch Malone move beautifully. He backs up laterally. Elvin Hayes cuts the angle off, and there's the offensive foul. No matter what size you are or how small you are.
He's punched the lights out of some big people. Right now we're going to have a timeout with the score of Houston 78 and Washington 77. Larry Wright gives a foul. He had to do it as it was a sure shot for Mike Newland. That's the 4th on Larry Wright. He grabbed him.
He grabbed him good, and a good lead pass by Moses Malone. Now Larry Wright is going to deny him the field goal, and that's exactly the way you should foul somebody when he's going to the hoop. Make certain that he doesn't get that ball up on the glass and possibly convert a 3-point play. Larry Wright didn't want to hurt anybody that time. He grabbed a hold of Newland and made sure he wouldn't fall too hard to the floor. There's the strategy of the foul. Newland missed the first free throw.
Yep. So Newland gives Houston a 2-point lead. 79-77. If the Rockets win this game, as every Houston fan knows, they close Washington out and win the series. Dave Bing in the game for the first time. Inside the Kupchak. And Mitch Kupchak gets the points for Washington as they tie the game. Kupchak with 8.
And that's the player that the Houston Rockets have to look out for, is Mitch Kupchak, because he can spark this Washington club because of his versatility.
Offensive foul.
Now that's Connert's 5th foul. Now let's watch this. And what you got to watch on this play is Connert's left arm. What happens to it when it goes up? Did he throw it to Kupchak or didn't he? The officials thought he did, and therefore an offensive foul.
So now Washington can take back the lead as Kupchak shoots, and Kupchak puts
Look out now, watch Unseld and Rudy T. Unseld and Rudy T. I wouldn't want to mess with either one of those guys, especially Unseld. But the officials are in there quick to stop, and I saw that coming. Unseld stood toe-to-toe to Rudy T. I thought they were going to square off and throw some punches, but thank goodness they didn't.
I don't think we've seen the last of this. Here we are again.
We'll watch this on the replay now as it's front court. There's a lot of bumping going on. And Unseld and Rudy T decided to go nose to nose. Now earlier, it was Calvin Murphy and Larry Wright, and it was Kupchak and Connor. Obviously, there's bad blood between these two clubs, and we'll watch it down the stretch.
Calvin Murphy does it alone. He takes it inside and ties the game at 81. Philadelphia has moved out in front of Boston at the end of the third quarter. Philadelphia up by about 7 points. 71 to 63. 16 points now for Elvin Hayes as the Bullets have back the lead.
Well, we've got to remind our fans again. Here we go with Moses Malone and Elvin Hayes. They went elbow to elbow that time. There's going to be an awful lot of physical contact here in the fourth quarter. Stick with us.
Foul on Dave Bing. Boy, it's getting to be like a
you
double
think they're
match.
not playing for the money here. Watch this. Doolin right in front of Dave Bing. Dave Bing picking up the offensive foul. And I'll tell you, it's nose to nose with the 5 players on the court. Everybody is taking a shot at their opponent. I don't know what's going to happen, but the officials better take control very, very quickly.
Tomjanovich, a free shot. Tips the ball out to Calvin Murphy, but it was a double dribble.
And the effect of that confrontation with Wes Unseld, I'm sure, showed up with Rudy T that time. He wasn't very sure of what to do with the ball, and he did mishandle it. The best thing now for both clubs to do is to settle down and play basketball and forget about the physical contact man-to-man.
NBA playoff basketball at its best. Kupchak gets it down low, puts it up, it rolls and goes, and he has 6 quick points in the fourth quarter. He now has scored 12, and he's been the difference as Washington has come back to take a 4-point lead.
Now let's see if they go to Moses Malone now. Elvin Hayes with 5 fouls. Perhaps he'll pick up the 6th.
Foul on Kupchak.
On this replay, you'll watch Kupchak now go ahead and hit the ball, but when he does, he waylays Mike Newland with the body, and Mike Newland hit the floor and will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. I'll tell you, take a look at these players' eyes right now, Donna. You know that they're out there for the money. You know they want to continue on in these playoffs. You know that somebody wants to play the winner of the Philadelphia-Boston series. This is absolutely for real.
10 points now for Mike Newland. And it's 85 to 83. Washington with a 2-point lead. It is going to be shutting down the stretch of this game because Washington is out if they lose at their home floor here. A 2-point lead. Kupchak with 6 points in the fourth quarter gets it down low to Hayes. Blocked by Moses Malone. It comes inbounds to the Red Team, to the Houston Rockets.
Moses Malone shoved it right down Elvin Hayes' throat that time. We'll watch it on the replay. Moses comes into your picture. Beautiful block and off Wes Unseld's foot.
Phil Kinnear with 19 points has not been that productive in the second half. Only 4 points. Moses Malone, he can jump to the moon, and he ties the game at 85 with 7:20 to go.
And that's what Houston must continue to do because Elvin Hayes will play Moses Malone very carefully, and Moses Malone should have a lot of open shots.
Elvin Hayes in foul trouble. He has 5. And so they'll be going down low to Moses Malone a lot.
We'll have the replay on the Kupchak foul now. Watch Kupchak stick his hands right in there and catch Clincher. I'll tell you something, these players right now are not only going nose to nose, but they're having words with each other before the ball's even passed in. Kevin Clincher has fouled out as we look at Dick Mata with Bernie Bickerstaff on his left. His assistant coach that he picked up from Casey Jones when he took over the reins of the Washington club. A great strategist.
Inside it goes to Unseld, taken away nicely by Dwight Jones. Knocked out of bounds by Mitch Kupchak. Boy, he works for that basketball. The big guy from Carolina.
Dick Mata always had the words of a Charlie Dresden. He said, stay close and I'll think of something down the end.
Now it comes down to who are the pressure players, who can really deliver when the big hands are up. And here comes Newland with a big delivery for the Houston Rockets to give them a 2-point lead, 87-85. Newland has scored 13.
And Houston right now challenging Elvin Hayes as they drive to the hoop. They're desperate to pick up that 6th foul and get him out of the ballgame.
Very right. You gotta like this kid. He really plays. He's got 8 points, and they've all been very pressure shots.
Larry Wright went right by the big guy, Dwight Jones, as well as Calvin Murphy, and converted.
Tied at 87. Tom Genovich against Unseld. Newland looks to go. Rudy T loops it down low to Moses Malone. Hayes has 5 fouls, and Moses Malone's going right after him. Kupchak with a rebound. Here comes Chenier. Lead to Wright. He'll fire. Missed it all, and Moses Malone gets to Karaman side court. 6 minutes. 6 minutes left to go as the Houston coaches are up, telling their team to settle it down, run pattern plays, take good percentage shots. Calvin Murphy against Wright. Feeds off to Jones for a free shot.
Good play.
Houston lead.
Good play by Calvin Murphy. He penetrated, forced the defenders to commit themselves, and hit the open man with Dwight Jones.
5:35 to play, 89-87. Houston's in the lead. The Houston Rockets looking to advance in the playoffs after a dramatic finish that brought them the Central Division Championship in the NBA. Boy, I tell you, Moses Malone went down. You could hear it went off like a gunshot. No foul. And Elvin Hayes gets points as 18.
Not only did he go down, but Larry Wright just banged into him. I don't know why they didn't call that play. Richie Powers was right on the call. An offensive foul looked like the right call to me. It gave him a basket, but I don't think they deserved.
And the game is tied at 89. Newland fires. Look at this man go. And he punches a fist and fires it in the air. Mike Newland with 15 points, and Houston again leads.
Now we're going to have a timeout on the court. And the one way to describe this game right now, as far as the conduct of the game, is tremendous intensity by both clubs. They're out there going nose to nose. They're going to do physical battle as we got 5:03 to play.
Bench scoring a big factor in the favor of Houston as they right now have a 2-point lead, 5:03 to play.
Look at that, 32-20. The bench has come off and picked up this Houston club. If one thing that Houston has going for them right now, Don, is desire. They've never been into the finals. The Bullets have. They want to get there and prove to the fans of the Houston area that they've got the material, that they've got the people to go ahead and possibly go all the way.
Get off right, there you go.
Here's another foul. This is an offensive foul against Washington's Kupchak. Now let's go to Brent Musburger in Philadelphia.
Offensive foul on Kupchak.
Welcome those of you who've watched Washington and Houston. That must be a dandy game. Here the 76ers are in charge by 10. Go inside to Dawkins, make it 12. Lloyd Free has hit 5 of 8 this field. So we have 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. The 76ers in command, 79-67.
Rudy Tomjanovich just drilled in a long jump shot field goal to make it 93-89 Houston. Moses Malone and Elvin Hayes pushing against each other. Official standing on top of that play. Rebound is taken by Tomjanovich. Tips it over to Dwight Jones. Look at here.
Watch that. Look at that physical contact. Moses Malone not giving Elvin Hayes an inch, and that's the way to play him. Deny him position and the ball.
Malone only has 2 fouls. Now Mike Newland hits another shot. He's played a superior game for Houston. He has 17 points, and all of a sudden Houston has a 6-point lead as Washington's in danger of losing out today. As we start down the stretch, there's Elvin Hayes with 5 fouls in a bumping contest with Moses Malone. The Houston Rockets have outscored Washington 14-4 in the last 3 minutes, and they now lead 95-89, Houston.
Elvin knows there's no tomorrow because if they get beat today, Houston goes on to the finals, so he's playing with reckless abandon. He doesn't care if he has 5 fouls. He knows he's got to put out 100% and not back off.
And I'll tell you one thing, Houston is really rising up too. Phil Chenier knocks one down to bring the Bullets back to within 4. Houston is a very controlled team. They are tough when the heat is on. They're playing in the other people's building, and they're really playing tough when it comes down the stretch. A 4-point lead for Houston. They've trailed most of the game, down by 8 at the half. Tomjanovich has been magnificent with the outside. He has 22. That great arcing jump shot has been coming down on the court time and again. 6-point lead for Houston, 97-91 Kupchak, as Washington has taken a lot of shots early on the time clock. They're not using up a lot of that time. They want to get the shots up quickly.
Calvin Murphy on his 4th foul, not too happy with that particular call. He thought he had all ball, and Kupchak could go to the free throw line now for 2 shots. We had an interesting defensive switch down at the other end of the court when Washington picks up the ball, Don. We've got Dwight Jones against Elvin Hayes, and Elvin Hayes playing Dwight Jones. He switched off of Moses Malone, possibly to be a little bit safer and stay in the game a little bit longer.
This Houston team is certainly a credit to everybody involved with it, from General Manager Ray Patterson, the president of the team, to Nasalki, to all the players. They said Texas is a football state, and that's the only thing that'll ever go there, but the Houston fans have really made this a major league operation in every dimension. Houston with a great regular season, coming back to win the Central Division, and now on the verge of closing out Washington. And Calvin Murphy nails one down and nails one into Washington.
And Calvin Murphy, who has had a bad game so far, shooting percentage-wise, just scored a very big bucket to put him up by 6 points.
Now we go down low to Chenier. Here's Henderson back outside, the sharpshooter from California. Unseld gets a rebound he had to get, and Kupchak follows that up. It is now 99-95. Houston with a 4-point lead, 2:40 to go.
Now watch Mitch Kupchak now come into your picture with great position and convert it.
Back to live action. Calvin Murphy drives, and he's called for a charging foul. His 5th foul. The ball is back over to Washington.
Calvin Murphy not very disciplined that time. Just tried to force the play unwisely. It was a big turnover. He could give Houston a chance to go up by 6. Now possibly Washington can cut it for 2.
If Houston wins this game, it'll be 3 times in the last 4 times they've played at Capitol Center. They've beaten the Bullets. They beat them on April 1st. Big closing game down towards the end of the regular season that gave them the lead in the divisional championship. Kupchak puts it back up. 2-point game.
Kupchak on the last 2 attempts has converted the offensive rebound into field goals. He is doing a tremendous job for Dick Motter's Washington Bullets.
2 minutes to go as Mike Newland fires. He gets it to go. Mike Newland puts it up and good.
A bad percentage shot that fell through. Houston right now getting a little undisciplined. Let's see if they can retract and play a little bit more conservatively, because they got the clock at their advantage.
Down low to Henderson against Tom Janovich, and Henderson gets it to fall. Newland, the Iceman, has thrown in 19 points in this game. It's 101-99 as you see. 1:35 left to play. Calvin Murphy hands off to Newland. He's against Henderson. He's been burning Henderson. He's trying again. Out to Tom Janovich. He can't miss. All day long.
Burning is Judy T, who's been burning Wes Unseld. That's at least his 4th or 5th jump shot from at least 20 or 22 feet. And Wes Unseld is a little bit slow coming out to play Rudy T. And in order to cut it off, he's got to get up and get right on his belt, because Rudy T has tremendous range. A good outside perimeter shooter for a big guy. 99-103, Donald. We got ourselves a ball game. Just a sweet ball game for everybody who's watching.
Big boxing action next Saturday in the CBS Sports Spectacular at 4:30 Eastern Time. Leon Spinks against Pedro Augusto in one heavyweight match. His brother Michael Spinks, another gold medalist in Montreal, going against Luis Rodriguez. That's in a light heavyweight matchup. Heavyweight Olympic medalist John Tate goes against Jerry Tompkins in Tate's professional debut. And Lee Canalito, who played football at the University of Houston, will go against Jerry Cooney in a heavyweight matchup next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Here's the scoring breakdown. But right now, let's go for an update on the Boston-Philadelphia game as we switch to the Spectrum and Brent Musburger.
Welcome the Houston-Washington crowd. Philadelphia with the ball and ahead 81-72. The last 6 minutes. Free. Dawkins was battling to hold it. Touched it last. It'll go now to the men in green. They can pull to within 7. That play took 5 seconds, so there'll be 5:55.
Well, the secret when the Celtics were playing excellent defense against the 76ers, they were doing 2 things. They were hitting the offensive boards very hard, and they were containing their fast break and making the 76ers shoot from outside.
So Daryl Dawkins goes out with 5 minutes and 55 seconds left. It is Philadelphia 81, Boston 72.
You're looking at a remarkable gardening tool. It's the Mantis Tiller Cultivator.
We're back, and we're coming down the stretch now. 1:26 left to play in the game, and the Houston Rockets leading Washington 103-99. Don Criqui with Mendy Rudolph here at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. Elvin Hayes slam dunks the ball to bring Washington back to within 2.
A classic pick and roll. You watch this now. There it is. There's the contact. As soon as he feels it, Elvin goes to the hoop. Now what Washington's got to do is overplay the ball and start to gamble because they need possession desperately.
Hayes has 20. Look at Newland. Look at Newland. Time and again, he's come up with a clutch bucket. 21 points.
Has turned this club on here in the fourth quarter. Houston has taken 16 shots and converted 12.
Look at Newland go after the ball. He just sacrificed his body for the love of the game and gets it off for the Houston Rockets. 43 seconds to go. 105-101, and Houston's Calvin Murphy says, "Whoop, let's take a little timeout and converse about this whole thing."
Tom Nasaki called that timeout. He wants to regroup the Houston Rockets to make certain they don't give up the ball or cough it up or take a bad percentage shot. They've got the clock in their favor. There's only 41 seconds to play with a 4-point lead.
Houston has hit 12 of 16 shots from the field here in the fourth quarter. We'd like to give special thanks to all those people, to our producer Tom O'Neill, our director John McDonough, our entire crew. We thank them. We thank them so very much as we are in the 6th game of this series. It could be the last one for Washington with 41 seconds to go. Houston will put the ball inbounds with a 4-point lead and 14 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And coming up next, as you saw, more NBA playoff action. You'll see either the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers or Portland and Denver. And no matter which game you get, you'll be seeing switch back and forth, so you'll be getting updates live from both arenas.
Now, it's very important at this juncture in the game, Don, for Houston to use as much time as they can on the clock. They've got 14 seconds to shoot. If you take the 14 off the 41, that's 27, which will give Washington only one shot possibly at the basket. And even if they do convert, it'll be a 2-point lead, and Houston can then run the clock out. And, of course, Washington will have to gamble and foul them. Now, the foul situation, the team foul situation, both teams are not in trouble. The Bullets only have 3 team fouls. They can give up 1. Houston only has 2 team fouls, and they can give up 1 also before going into the penalty situation. So Houston's got to use the clock at this point to make certain that Washington only gets the ball back once.
Here in the fourth quarter, Mike Newland has taken 5 shots. He's hit 5 shots. He has 3 assists. You just saw him come up with that ball possession, diving and grabbing with one hand. That is the game clock down on the right, the shot clock on the left. And here comes Newland. Henderson's having a lot of problems staying with this tough young man from Utah. Tom Janovich is going to fire. Oh, everything. That's it. That is the series. That did it. That is over. That puts the top on the cake. 107-101, 27 seconds to go. Blocked by Malone. They call a foul. But that spectacular shot by Tom Janovich sends people home here at the Capitol Center. They're heading for the exit.
Boy, Rudy T has done that at least 6 times this particular game, and they had a defensive switch on that play. Unseld went off him. Elvin Hayes picked them up, and there was just no way to block that shot because of the perimeter. Now here's the play on Henderson, driving to the hoop. There's the foul by Moses Malone, and with only 24 seconds to play, I don't see much hope for Washington Bullets unless Houston Rockets completely fall apart, which I don't expect.
They're not a team that does that. This is a team with a lot of poise. They're going to be tough right on through the playoffs. Rudy Tom Janovich with 26 points. Mike Newland has scored 21. John Lucas has 16. Moses Malone 14 and 14 rebounds. Chenier leads Washington with 21, but he had 15 in the first half. And now they're going to just play catch with the ball. Here's a guy that's pretty tough to catch when he's got it, Calvin Murphy. A 90% free throw shooter. Over to Malone. 10 seconds left to go. What do we have? We have a foul. Foul on Washington. And the Houston Rockets, who a lot of people didn't think would even be in the playoffs, but came on to win their division, now are going to close out the Bullets on Washington's home floor. And again, Tom Nasaki says, let's call a timeout. This is a tough one. We want to be sure we finish up in style.
He's got a 4-point lead, 11 seconds to play. He wants to make certain that his team gets set up properly, make certain they don't throw the ball away on the inbounds pass. There's a lot of smiles over there in the Houston club, but I'll tell you something.
Hey, there ought to be.
There's 11 seconds to play, Don, and I've seen a lot of things happen in the NBA with 11 seconds to play on a throw-in. They've got to be very, very careful on the passing. They've got to make certain that nobody overplays them too strongly so they can go ahead and steal and pick up a quick field goal. This inbound pass will be mostly important for the Houston Rockets. probably the most important inbounds pass of the entire year.
So we come down to the final 11 seconds as Tom Nasalke and his assistant Del Harris go over that last strategy, and it's primarily what you said, Mandy. They got to stay away from mistakes, and at the other end you see completely contrasting emotion. The Washington Bullets realizing that it is just about over for them.
Tom Nasalke just checked with the scoring table to make certain that if they do get in trouble on the inbound pass, that they could go ahead and call a timeout. They have one timeout left, so if there is a problem, they'll use it and use it strategically.
This Friday at 11:30 Eastern Time, you'll see more NBA playoff action as CBS Sports continues its coverage of the playoffs. And there'll also be, after the Friday night single game, a doubleheader on Sunday tipping off at 1:30 Eastern Time. 11 seconds is all that's left here at Capitol Center, and quite probably all that's left in the Washington Bullets season. After finishing a game behind Houston in the Central Division, Elvin Hayes is coming out with Wesley Unseld. Mitch Kupchak in the game down the final seconds now, along with Chenier and Henderson. On the floor for the Houston Rockets, John Lucas, Calvin Murphy, John Johnson, Mike Newless, and Tom Janovich. They have no center in. They're going with ball handling people now to close it out.
Paul Johnson is going to go ahead and inbound the ball.
Calvin Murphy is fouled. And you'll see what Calvin Murphy's all about as he goes to the free throw line. He once made 58 in a row in NBA regular season competition. Calvin Murphy, after scoring 40 on Friday night, has only 10 here today.
But Rudy King, unbelievable what he did with his perimeter shooting today. He burned Wesley Unseld 4 times. He burned Elvin Hayes with probably the biggest shot of the game for himself personally, with a tremendous 22-footer that put the seal on this particular game, Don, I think.
That's a 5-point lead now, and here is the frustration of Washington as they lose the ball. Newland throws it. The series is over. That would have been the final glory if that thing would have went in. So the final score here at Landover is Houston losing to Washington. Let's get that straight. The scoreboard clock, they've got it backwards. It is Houston winning the game 108-103. Don Criqui from Andy Rudolph. Now let's go to Philadelphia and Brent Musburger.
And JoJo White shoots up and misses. We welcome the Houston-Washington crowd. Loose ball foul. Quickly 1:17 to go. And it's 83-77. Philadelphia ahead of Tommy Heinsohn's Boston Celtics. And the final score, congratulations to Houston and Coach Tom Nasalke. They now advance to the Eastern Conference Final against the winner of this game. We've got an injury timeout. Al Domenico going out now. Havlicek is furious about something. He and Jake O'Donnell. Charlie Scott comes over. Now we're going to have a confrontation at the table. And of course the third official, Manny Sokol, is over there. He can keep a check on the timing, the scoring. Havlicek still not accepting O'Donnell's explanation. 117 up on the scoreboard, 83-77. So a 6-point difference, 1 minute and 17 seconds to go. And the countdown begins for the world champion.
What a turnabout in one season. Celtics, Phoenix in the finals last year. Neither one will make it to the semifinals.
3 with the shot clock going down, uses it all. With a miss, Boston now can pull to within 4, but they must hurry inside of a minute. He must shoot, but he traveled. White turned it over. 47 seconds, and they're standing up in the spectrum. Everyone feels this is it. it looks like Philadelphia and Houston for the Eastern Conference Championship. Time is run out on the men in green. Erving resumes, only 1 second left at the buzzer. They don't get a fresh 24. Hold on, they don't get a fresh 24. He didn't hit the rim. It's still 83-77, 21 seconds to go.
Before the game's over, we'd like to say something for Doug Collins. His dad, Paul Collins, is going into the hospital tomorrow for an operation, and we wish him all the best.
He has to be happy, Billy, seeing what's happening. Collins took the lob pass underneath, muscled up, wouldn't go. Everyone's screaming. Countdown begins. It is over. It is all over. 83-77. Look at the crowd here in the Spectrum. Look at the fans. 83-77. The Philadelphia 76ers have advanced into the Eastern Conference Final against the Houston Rockets. Houston beats Washington.
They're coming up on
And
top
they're
of
on
the basket.
top of the baskets, taking down the nets.
What's going to happen if they get to the finals?
83-77. Let me say one thing right now.